The world is facing the worst environmental disasters. In recent years, urbanization has wiped out most of our forest cover. Our rivers are filled with waste. Our cities are struggling with polluted air. Melting glaciers are putting our very water supply at risk.
Have spent the day assessing the damage following that torrential downpour.
Uttarakhand's Kedarnath has caused major damage.
So what led to this torrential rainfall in Dubai?
Dioxide have failed to curb climate change in 2023. This is according to a study.
In a single month, India has been faced with 4 biggest natural disasters: torrential rains, floods and landslides, cyclones, and unprecedented heat wave. Our planet needs our attention now.
We have only one planet, and it's under the stress. Climate change and pollution are growing a mess. I dream of a green planet with blue skies and fresh air, where nature blooms and we can dance without a care. Our ocean are rising. Our forests are in disrepair. But we want a future where our planet thrives. Will we make choices today that let this come alive? A few have realized and work with might. But the speed of adoption is slow. Who will take the lead and make this change happen? Hello, sir.
Again, so we are meeting, this is the third meeting I think in the last 4 years. You feel that things probably have not progressed, but I think we have made some changes. And at MG, definitely we are committed to contributing towards a greener and healthier planet. And that's why we are here today. So welcome to DRIEV.BHARAT. So we have realized the need to keep life on our planet sustainable. One important aspect of sustainability is our choice of transportation, which is currently dominated by ICE vehicles. These vehicles are not, they don't only pollute, but additionally burden us with annual bill in our country of around $200 billion in crude oil imports. This not only impacts our energy security, but also affects our sustainability goals, as all of us know. In the past few years, new energy vehicles have come a long way to become viable alternative to ICE vehicles. Let's look at what has happened around the world in the last few years. Car sales, as you can see in this chart, globally, NEVs or new energy vehicles are gathering momentum. Charging infrastructure is keeping pace to enable this growth. What's also heartening is that more and more energy is being generated from renewable sources to power these vehicles. In India too, the EV sector has accelerated at a tremendous pace. This growth is set to continuing. This chart is about cars only. In two-wheelers, it has gone up even more. And like the rest of the world, charging infrastructure has kept pace with the growing demand in India also. It's around 12,000 chargers at this point of time. So our energy generation's installed capacity also has moved from the renewable sources is approximately 46% now, and growing with the government's special emphasis on that. MG India has been supporting this transition. Since day one, our aim has been to promote the EV's lifestyle. To support this, we have been building a robust EV ecosystem. As most of you know, we introduced India's first internet electric SUV, ZSEV, way back in 2020. We planned in 2018. Then we introduced India's first smart urban mobility solution, the MG Comet EV. We enabled six-way charging solutions, which has become kind of industry benchmark right now. Took up the mission of installing 1,000 chargers across communities in 1,000 days. Happy to say already we have installed 500 in 500 days. And we have forged partnership with all leading EV stakeholders in this country. And most of you are in the room today here. So we have also engaged with 1,500 plus startups under MG development program to foster India's relevant innovation system. We have collaborated with over 60 institutions so far to impart EV education and skill development under MG Nurture program, and it continues. So as a result of these efforts, EVs make up to almost 40% of our sales in India right now. And we are committed to drive sales from these new energy vehicles even further as we go forward. So manufacturers like us, along with our ecosystem partners, are committed to doing our part. Yet, as we know, adoption still faces apprehensions. Questions like, are EVs really a more sustainable choice compared to ICE vehicles? Questions are being asked. What happens to used batteries? Can they be reused? Lack of credible and comprehensive information about EVs. And then, where are the chargers? And are they reliable? So these are the questions in people's mind. So today we are really excited to launch multiple platforms that will address all these apprehensions and illuminate the path to a joyful EV life. I don't claim that life will change from tomorrow, but it's a journey, and we are reaching a very good milestone today on this path. Before we dive into addressing these challenges, let us look at why we believe EVs are a better alternative. So in the first sub-session of today's thing, I would talk about a recent study done by IIT Delhi, which compares the benefits of EVs, ICE vehicles, and hybrid vehicles. This is authored by Professor Gaurav Dwivedi and Tushar Gehlot under the guidance of Professor B.K. Panigrahi. By studying scientific information, the study highlights that instead of evaluating advantages on a single criteria, a multi-criteria comparison needs to be carried out to determine the best vehicle technology for consumers. After detailed evaluation, 7 relevant criteria and their weights have been identified, as you can see in the charts. As per the finding of this study, EVs have emerged as the most preferred alternative across price segments. To understand more about the merits and challenges of EVs, let me invite Professor B.K. Panigrahi, Randhir Singh, and Dr. Rashi Gupta to share their insights, and this session is going to be moderated by Som Kapoor of EV. Can I please welcome you on the stage? Rashi, thank had a great conversation. So, thank you to all you.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, thank you, MG Motors, for having us here. What we'll try and do is some of the questions Rajiv left on the board, we'll try and start from there. But let me get you a quick introduction of who we are and what we're doing today. Let me start by Professor Panigrahi. A lot of us over here want our kids to go to IIT Delhi and study under you, but thank you so much for coming apart. I went through the study as well, very comprehensive, and congratulations on that. Hope we can get some momentum from there. Madam Battery Wali, Rashi, that's how you colloquially known as, but Dr. Rashi Gupta, she's actually at the, she's a member of the UN force on topics such as these. And, Randeep, happy to have you here. Mr. Singh is actually an ex-Niti Aayog member, so I was hoping that he can give us some guidance on international topics, government topics on EVs and things like that. But Dr. Panigrahi, having you in the room, let me start with you first. This is just an education session for people like me. But if you could just give me like 4 bullet points on why an EV makes more sense than any other form of movement that we are known, including ICE, hybrid, whatever else. And if we can start with that and then take it on from there.
Okay. Because many times we debate whether the EV is better than the IC engine. Definitely yes. Because if you look into the IC engine, particularly in cities like Delhi and etc., because looking into the pollution and all other things, so EV is a preferable one. If we are considering the tailpipe emission. Forget about the well-to-wheel emission. There are studies done across European countries and different countries when you will consider the pollution during battery manufacturing and all other process. But if you look into the local pollution level which we are doing by the emission of the IC engine vehicle, in that concept the EVs are better because the tailpipe emission is 0, number 1. Number second point, what we are considering, the type of feeling I will have in driving the electric vehicle, the smoother control and the comfort, all other things are better in the case of the electric vehicle. The third point is also, if you look into the factor like the maintenance cost and all other costs, that is absolutely 0, you can tell. Because the major part is the battery and the motor. So generally, being an electrical engineer, I have seen we are using motor in various industries. The maintenance is very less in that particular case. So you don't have to rely on the different maintenance aspect and the moving part, if you will consider the ICE engine and other engine, the moving parts. So looking into those benefits, so I hope the EV is a better choice for the customer. And if I am a sensible customer and looking into the pollution as an impact factor, then definitely EV is one of the choice in comparison to the ICE engine.
Coming from an educated person like you, I mean, so can I make the headlines here to say that Professor Panigrahi believes that EVs are a much better solution than most other forms of transport, given like a balanced scorecard method of across 5-6 parameters that Rajiv showed? Would that be a fair statement to make? And I'm going to take yes as an answer to that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
good.
Definitely, yes.
Perfect. So I think the headlines is there. Rashi, let me take this on to you. Can you extend this a little bit? I mean, the conversation here to say that, from an environmental benefits perspective, or just from a tech advancement required for EVs, where are we heading towards? Where have we come from and where are we heading towards?
We have come a very, very long way from where we were. I mean, when I started work in lithium in 2015, there was literally no one talking about it, and so there is a huge transition in terms of technology that I see from the traditional lead acid to lithium in terms of technology. And now we're going way forward, not just with lithium, but more variants of lithium to the extent of graphene and solid state. wherein we get much more mileage, better life, better recyclability, a good second life. And all of these combined together, we reduce the impact on the environment in terms of critical minerals, mining, in terms of energy efficiency of the ecosystem in its entirety. We are going towards circularity, and what we are achieving is a holistic sustainability. Though there would be question next in everyone's mind that how green is charging of the EV. I mean, I've stolen your question there. But what happens is, yes, I agree that there is a slight challenge at this point of time with charging of EVs, but that is gradually being mitigated as well. Because there is a lot of RE which is being added to the grid. Of course, there are certain challenges there. But then we in India have to have the right energy mix, as well as we need to understand, like in the previous video which was shown, that we have only one planet. And if we do not act now, the human race will be extinct, not the planet. So we need to act now, and we need to make very, very sustainable choices. EV is one of them. Though the ecosystem still has certain challenges, but we all together can overcome the challenges, including manufacturers, policymakers, consumers, education institutes, very, very important. All of us together, we are the 4 pillars of this ecosystem. And if we do it together, we can certainly overcome all the challenges, making EV the most preferred choice.
So can I make this statement that the only way forward is the EV way forward right now? Because irrespective of whatever happens, I mean, just looking at the video, I live in Delhi, right? The winter months in Delhi are unlivable to a certain extent. But essentially, the point I'm trying to make is, you said that the change that has happened from 2015 till now, to my mind, you know, the change that happened from 2015 till now versus the change that is anticipated to happen from, say, 2024 to 2030 is going to be probably 10 times more in a positive direction towards the environment. And to do that, do you believe EV is probably one of the strongest pillars to get that going? Because do realize this, right? If you actually look at a country's journey of motorization, right? If you look at the per capita correlation to motorization, you know, the minute we start hitting from, say, $2,700–2,800 per capita, which is today, to say $4,000 per capita, say, which is anticipated 2030, 2032, you know, the amount of motorization is going to increase quite significantly. Could EV be the first time answer to motorization in India as well?
Now, that's a controversial question.
I agree.
Yeah. And can I give a controversial answer
Please.
to that? So EVs will be at the mainstream, but I would say that all technologies will coexist.
Okay.
It all depends on how fast we are in adoption as the ecosystem. Okay, the charging infrastructure, the policy, the serviceability, you know, the availability of raw materials, manufacturing, and the consumer behavior in India is very unique. Please, we are not Europeans here. So when we combine all of this together, I think a majority of the ecosystem will be catered by EVs. Second point that I want to also say is that over a period of time from 2015, what I have now seen in 2024, it's not a snail. It's not slow. It's a very good progression. As well as now what will happen is, you know, when you look at the life cycle, it will now shoot up.
Okay.
And this trigger will actually bring in a lot of change in the mindset of people, in the adoption, in the policy, to have this balance of ecosystem which we really need in terms of the climate impact, in terms of sustainability, and in terms of affordability.
Okay.
Because if if you look at ICE versus comparison between EVs are much more affordable. But now there will be certain questions on the serviceability and availability. Though yes, those challenges also will be addressed over a period of next 2 to 3 years. I'm anticipating that. And then I think there's no looking back for EVs.
So the two highlights that I got from you was highlight number one to say that, we're hitting an inflection point very soon. Once we hit the inflection point, EVs, even for the first time buyer, could probably be a potential solution. So that just increases the numbers at the base end. I mean, I love the chart Rajiv showed earlier, wherein he had EVs starting from, the range that he had put up was 9-10 lakhs and above. So the minute we get to that part of the ecosystem, that part of the market, the volumes just increase. But thank you for those 2 points, Rashi. Appreciate it.
So just to supplement one point to Rashi, what she told, this is an important point, the sustainability and affordability. Correct. So yeah, in the initial period of EV, affordability is a big question. But now looking into various OEMs and coming up, the price of the battery, thanks, is gradually diminishing. So I hope it is now affordable and comparable looking into. So adaptation of EV, because every stakeholder, like the 4 pillar she told, everybody is trying to make the EV much more affordable to the Indian context, in Indian market. And that's why we are here.
So the headline from there is that affordability will drive the change. The minute you get to an affordable segment, the minute you get to more options available, the minute you get to, you have more products available from different OEMs, that will be one of the change drivers towards EVs. Okay, great. Randhir, I want to take you back in time, make you younger. Think of you going back to being at Niti Aayog to a certain extent. And the only question I want from you is, we're talking so much that the OEMs are coming up with products, there's so much conversation on charges. What is the government thinking to a certain extent? Is if they have a plan in mind, if they are trying to put up some policies around it, any guidance you can share with the group over here?
So, in fact, we need not to go back to the time. You should just see my career. So I left Niti. I had the chance to go to the next level and all and continue in the Niti. And whatever policies you are seeing with the remodeling of the FAME2, ACC PLI, battery waste management rules, and BIS standards even. Still, I am in the ETD 5.1 committee. All of those are sort of, either ideated by me or have passed through my desk. But what I did after that, I left that and I started my own consulting firm. And
join the gang.
Again, in which segment? EV value chain. That's where I am working. So if I didn't had the, the clue that this is the sector which is not going to be the booming in the future, why would I have taken that? So you just track my career journey and you will see what is the thinking of, the places wherein I have worked earlier. So I think this is one sort of a clear-cut answer which I could give to what you said. I'll just pick up one thing wherein Rashi said, and you also tried to fix that, the inflection point. So, in general, to whatever field it is, the 5% adoption is called the inflection point, after which everything jumps up. Now, it can be on the either way. It can be upside jump or downside jump. But how we can see that it is going to be an upside jump? Because in the current context, you don't see any other efficient means to actually switch to something wherein the lady here started at the green planet and all. This is the only viable solution which we have right now, and is the most efficient one when it comes to the ground transport. And that's why I think that's how this holistically, if you see why EVs is one of the biggest solution. I wouldn't rule out everything else, but definitely this is something which stands out against everything. One more thing which is aiding up to this is the reducing prices of the critical minerals, mainly the lithium. I won't talk about the cobalt because industry is switching to the LFMP and the LFP side, wherein the cobalt requirement is almost nil. In fact, zero it is. So from the mining perspective also, it is becoming towards the sustainability, and that's how even the government also thinks. In fact, the recent budget has done something very wonderful in terms of the mineral side, that it has become the import free. But a lot of things has to be done on the processing side when those capabilities has to be built up. A lot of things has to be done on the recycling side, because we have not seen any SOPs when it comes to the recycling side, from where the mineral actually comes back again into the system. And there are targets all across the world, whether we see the Europe or in the US. So there are targets, even in the IRA there are targets. Inflation Reduction Act for reutilizing the material which has come out from the recycling, the battery grade and all. So overall, again, answering your question, just track my career and you will see what is the thinking behind the government, I think.
So you're the true suit in the room, you're chasing the dollars. So you've managed to chase the dollars all the way to the end. Fair
I wouldn't
enough.
shy away to say yes.
I love that. No, but no, thank you, Randir. Actually, to my mind, every time we talk about electric vehicles, etc., there's something that always comes up to everybody's mind. It's about probably the way the consumer thinks. Ultimately, he's the one who's going to buy. He's the one who's putting his money on the table. Rashi, I want to go to you on that. Things like, you keep hearing things like range anxiety, serviceability. Are those concerns truly there, or they're hypervalued, or they're undervalued? Any perspective there?
It's a mixture of all three, okay? Range anxiety is just here.
Okay.
It's not practically there, okay? Most of us in India have a long-term planning. We need that vehicle every day for just a few kilometers, but we will plan saying that, no, maybe, on a Saturday I'll be going out, or maybe once in a month I'll be going out. I need it for that. Now, what happens is, this is the way we have been conditioned for a long, long time. With the change in technologies, yes, of course, now there are much higher range vehicles available. Things are changing. But this anxiety can be overcome very easily. Like what MG did, 500 charges, 500 days, fantastic. I know Charge Zone sitting here, Karthik is sitting here. He has done a fantastic job in terms of, putting up charging infrastructure. We at Vision have got the new graphene batteries. We have got the new EV batteries. We are even doing a second life battery. So a lot of change is already happening. So range anxiety is something that the consumer can do away with comfortably. Second is the serviceability. Now here there are two things which could branch out. Number one is developing more skill set where IITs and other universities of the country come into picture. Second is empowering the service centers and the dealer network a bit. And if there could be, this is thinking out loud, okay, if there could be a SOP developed which could help the consumer in the time of distress. See, any vehicle can break down. Even your ICE vehicle breaks down. But the difference is that ICE has a serviceability from any roadside mechanic. EVs do not.
But with the lesser number of moving parts, if I put my mechanical engineering hat on, right? I mean, just see the number of moving parts in an ICE vehicle versus an electric vehicle to a certain extent. I mean, just that lesser friction in the car should make it for a better durability. Is that true? Untrue?
Yes, I agree with you on that. But what happens is we have to train our drivers also in the fashion to run the EVs better.
Okay.
So some kind of training for the consumer behavior, some kind of training for the user to understand what is critical and what is non-critical in the time of alarms that the EVs are giving. Some kind of SOPs could be developed. That could enhance serviceability to the next level. But EV is now. It's not something in future that we are looking in. EV is now.
Let me take a cue from that EV is now. Professor Panigrahi, you can, if you were to do a little bit of crystal ball gazing right now, I mean, she said it's now, but I want to look at the future. What do you believe is the future of EVs, at least for people living in this room, people in India, for all of us? Where do you think we are going?
No, I support Rashi. EV is now and EV is also the future.
Okay.
Because the way already you have shown the graphs, the way we are progressing, the faster we have the speed on that. You see, those things, the one question is the mindset of the people we have to change, range anxiety, etc. It has already been changed to some extent. A lot of charging infrastructures are coming up. Another important point is the service facility. So I know if I am driving an ICE engine and my car breaks down, and immediately I will find within 1 kilometer radius, 10 service centers are there.
Okay.
And I ask this question everywhere. If you will go to, not to service center, a roadside service thing, Is the person who is working there is an automotive engineer having mechanical degree or automobile degree?
I
Never
hope
that.
not.
So why not? We reskill them to the EV sector, and I know MG and others, they are doing a lot for the skill set, reskilling and other things. So looking into the pace in which we are going, looking into the pace, we have put our charging infrastructure, and I hope you will agree with me, EV is the future also. Because people are enjoying and driving the EV, particularly I drive the EV on my own.
Honestly, it's very comfortable to drive EV. You know, I have real difficulties driving an ICE vehicle, but if you give me an EV, I can comfortably drive EV.
Let me go to Randir. Randir, now that you've drifted towards the gray zone in life, right? You've joined a lot of us. Let me ask you a couple of, just a simple question, maybe, but just a multi-billion-dollar question. Where do you see this inflection point of 5%? And if you were to put that crystal ball gazing thing, where do you anticipate PHEV, NEVs, all of those put together in, say, 10 years from now? Let's look at 2032, 2033, 2034. Let's give a 10-year horizon from here.
See, EV's evolution as well as the future, a lot of it depends upon how the powertrain and the batteries are going to evolve in the future. As far as the motor is concerned, I think it's pretty much we are at the at the efficiency, at the risk of the efficiency. And yes, we are coming out with different motors and all. And except one, we need more suppliers in India who should manufacture in India. The motors I'm talking about, the 150 watt and above, kilowatt and above. But nevertheless, that is happening. Plus, world over, powertrain development is also happening. In fact, day before yesterday only, Tesla has come out that every 5 seconds they are coming out with the one powertrain, and Musk says that in every 1 second they want to produce. That's what they are saying. So we are pretty much there. Now it comes to the second part, which is the battery part. And in fact, if you just track the investments in the climate side, you will see almost 85% of the total investment all across the world, mainly OECD countries, is flowing towards this, the battery side. In fact, it is planned so much that the overcapacity has reached even in Europe, in China, in the US itself, and people are now slowing down on that overcapacity. I won't say the capacity, but the overcapacity, which definitely has to happen. Otherwise, the money goes to the dump instead of going to the right track. So both these aspects are being funded, are going on the right path. And we are, I think, on a very, very right track for these two things to evolve so that the EV adoption as well as the development can continue. Third thing, coming back to the charging and the range anxiety part. So if you just see the data, in Europe, 70% of the charging happens at home. Yeah. No, I'm not including even the office charging and all. Nordic countries, 86%, and US, 80%. This is what the data is. Of course, in India, not every home has the parking or the switch and all. But if I just include the other part, which is the office charging also, I think definitely in India also we are going to reach somewhere 70 to 75%, that type of charging. And the public charging, if we include, the public charging is going to be around 20 to 25%, not more than that, mainly catering to the commercial side of that. And in fact, even when we talk about the commercial side, and I'm sure Karthikeya will support that, will be mostly, the plaza sort of thing, not the individual sort of thing, because the time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes when this charging is happening. Plus, in India, when range anxiety part also, there are certain, the innovators, like the Exponent, who have come out with the 15 minutes charging, which is not available across the world, and people generally ask him, how is it different than nobody else has come out, you have come out? And he has displayed that in Delhi itself, they have already deployed 26 plus stations. So that range anxiety part also through the innovations is also being tackled in our country. So all in all, yeah.
Please, go ahead.
So when we look at EV ecosystem, it's not just the four-wheelers or the buses, it's also the two-wheelers and three-wheelers. And if you look at the figures on the Vahan portal also, the things are fantastic. There's a huge rise in the adoption of EVs.
Absolutely.
And the commercial sector is shifting, because that makes a commercial sense to have EVs deployed and material handling in segment, that makes sense. So I don't see that EVs are going anywhere out of the system, or there's a war between whether there's an EV or not an EV. It's definitely an EV, and EVs are going to stay.
Okay, so it's definitely EV. There's lots and lots of EVs around, but I can't let you go without this. So now that you're on our side, how do you see all these global parts of the world where EVs have been a success to a great extent? What do we need to learn? What do we need to learn, and what do they need to amplify? How can we actually pick up those best practices?
So I'll just pick up that chart wherein in his study, the 27%, the larger aspect was of the policy and that push. So initially when something comes, there has to be a nudge. Either it can be nudge or the forced adoption, which I think pretty much from the two-wheeler, three-wheeler side has happened. Four-wheeler side and going forward to the commercial and all still required. Okay. That is one thing which I see, and from the policy side I'm saying in particular. Two-wheeler, three-wheeler has been taken over by the by the industry as well as by the consumers. So this is something which will go on. That ball is rolling now. Now, if we have to learn from the West, so there are several aspects on which
we can learn from the East also.
Yes, but I think it's better to learn from the best and West both. So very important aspect is I'll discuss one by one. One is the charging part. So it's not only the charging infra, it's the back end of the charging infra. The grid side, the utility side and all. That is where a lot of work needs to be done. One aspect which is in the government control is shifting towards the renewable, the 500 gigawatt of target by 2030, that is there. But in addition to this, just having the connection at the charging, let's say when we talk about the buses deployment, you'll find an issue that buses are there, EVSE is there, electric vehicle supply equipment is there, but there is no power connection. Why it is happening? There is a misalignment between the policy and between the actual executioners on ground. It takes 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months to at least get at this power connection. This is something which has been synchronized and harmonized in the West. And that is something which we have to learn for sure. If something has to pick up, your capital expenditure has been done, your bus is there, your charger is there, but there is no power connection. Power is there, but connection is not there.
So can we make this statement here to say that, what we need to really learn is no misalignment between CapEx and OpEx?
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that to my mind, because the minute money is spent, you need to see adoption on the road. So, no misalignment between CapEx and OpEx. Professor Panigrahi, anything that, I'm sure you do a lot of trips and see EV adoption all over the world. Anything from your perspective which can be learned from there? Misalignment, CapEx, OpEx, completely agreed. Anything from your perspective?
You are talking of regarding EV?
Yes.
See, I am always a strong supporter of this EV. Now, see, the question is when we compare whether IC is better, EV is better, hybrid vehicle is better, or this better, or that better. You see, always you have to look into, I used to give a simple example. If I'm a researcher or I'm a teacher, if I'm teaching the subject X, you may find in that particular subject X, there are hundreds of books. Then if I have to tell to the student which book I will prefer for you, or which book is better for you, I have to look into the other side. So why I'm telling this point, when particularly you want to make a study, or when particularly you want to tell something is better, then you have to look into how you are evaluating it. So when you are coming to the evaluation, what are the criteria you are taking for the evaluation? Okay, somebody may evaluate from 2 criteria, somebody may 3 criteria. So it is basically multi-criteria. Okay. If you are taking multiple criteria to evaluate, and if you take the multiple segments, the price and all other things of the vehicles, etc., the consumer behavior. Because when I teach to the students also, I look into who are the students on the other side. Are they BTech, or they are diploma holders, or they are ITI people to whom I am teaching the same subjects. So that is the most important thing. So that is the way we have to make the comparison and come to a particular point. So looking into all those aspects, whatever have been presented, or there are many study people are doing, many researchers are doing, and this The very simple thing we used to tell, well-to-wheel emission, tailpipe emission. So all those studies are written in there.
Professor Panigrahi has typically taken us to classroom to say, evaluate books. What is the evaluation criteria?
I must interrupt you guys here, but I must say we are super impressed.
Just one last point.
For the entire thoughts. And I must thank Dr. Rashi, thank you so much. Thank you. Professor Panigrahi, thank you so much. Randhir, I want to thank you as well. And Som for having the panel. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for giving us your perspectives on the EV movement. Thank you so much. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Well, I must say that the entire panel, of course, frankly, went beyond the scope of our intended discussion, and they gave us reasons not only to move towards EV, but also put across the entire platform to evaluate the adoption of EVs from multiple facets, be it at the back end, be it the product, be it the front end for service as well. But one of the important aspects that they talked about was the presence of the charging infrastructure. Let's first look at what do the current EV owners in India they have to say about the charging infrastructure and their issues. Voices. And one of the most frequently concerns and questions that we all hear is about charging anxiety. And over the past years, in fact, the past 3 years, we've seen the charging infrastructure grow from close to about 1640 to crossing 12,000. And this number is expected to reach about 100,000 chargers by 2030. Yes, and with this number, the expectation would be to be able to support the EV population in India by that time frame. Now, these are based on benchmarks, company plans, and also the projections in terms of the ratios. Yet, the EV owners are still concerned about their charging concerns. And questions like, where are the chargers? How many apps do I need to download? Are the chargers in working condition? And specifically, is there an available slot? Are the chargers relevant to my car type? Can I reserve a spot? And how do I get there? How do I make the payment? These are all concerns and questions that the current EV owners have. Now at MG, we have a habit of taking challenges head on and then giving a solution to address them. We've partnered with the leading players in the charging ecosystem in the country to build a groundbreaking solution that addresses all of these concerns. Yes, introducing eHub, a unified charging platform designed to provide access to the entire, well, almost entire charging network in India. With this eHub and its intuitive interface, it will give customers a seamless user experience. You can find a charger anywhere in India suitable to your vehicle. Your vehicle could be using a CCS2 or Type 2 or whatever the charging requirements may be. But with this app, you will be able to address all your requirements. You can reserve a slot and then even navigate to the charging station. Now, people are also concerned about taking their EVs on a long trip. We just heard Dr. Rashi talking about the weekend trip or the trip during the holidays. People do get concerned about where will they stop and where will they find the chargers. With this eHub, you can plan your favorite road trip with your family and friends. Simply choose your starting point, your end point, and fill in your experience range of your electric vehicle. It could be any brand. And in a jiffy, your entire trip will be at your fingertips with recommended stops on the way. Not only this, you can even edit the plan as per your preference. So much so that we have tested this across trips like Kashmir to Kanyakumari or from Ahmedabad to Kolkata. You have an entire plethora of options, routing, what kind of charges, what is the rate over there, when was it last used, is it available, can you make a booking, all of that on your palm itself. And of course, once you reach the charging station, scan the QR code, charge your car, and once you are done, you're on the go once again. eHub will be available with 11 languages in the beginning. And this 11 languages will only span to grow as we go in the future. Now, we are grateful to all our partners in the charging ecosystem who have come together for the first time to make this platform a reality. eHub is designed to provide a hassle-free charging experience for EV owners currently, also to give confidence to those who are on the fence to adopt the EV lifestyle. And with this, we expect an increased momentum in customers coming and enjoying the EV experience. In fact, EVhub is now live and available to download right on App Store, whether it's iOS or Android. So I request all of you to start enjoying and exploring eHub and get on to the convenience of a hassle-free charging solution by eHub today itself. Let's have a small video to see how it all operates. So once again, a special thank you to all the partners coming together and, of course, helping us moving on to the EV adoption cycle. Now, moving on to the next one, making a headway, and especially the battery is at the heart of the electric vehicle. And there have been tremendous advancements in this technology, be it in range, faster charging, of course, enhanced safety, and its life does not end with just at the end of the warranty of the battery. RNG batteries last longer, so much longer that they can actually outpace the life of the vehicle, and especially in the case of ICE vehicles. The battery of an electric vehicle comprises of cells and modules. And in certain cases of damage, the modules today can be replaced. And therefore, the replacement costs will be at a fraction of a cost. The work is moving on in the future to be able to even replace and repair the cells in the modules, and hence bringing the cost even further down. But the question is, what happens when the life of an EV battery comes to its end of the road journey? And this is where the second life of the battery gets going. We repurpose them into multiple products for various applications in partnership with various institutions and startups. And some of them are in the room with us today over here. First solution was co-developed by MG and Batex to provide India's first off-grid solar-powered charging solution, and at the station using our MG EV battery in partnership with the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor, DRIEV, and IIT Delhi. A solar EV charging station that operates off-grid, minimizing reliance on traditional power sources. This collaboration with Batex Energy aligns and helped us reinforce our vision of a greener future and, of course, a cleaner society. Thank you, Vikrant, and the team at Batex, IIT Delhi, and of course, the officials at the Principal Scientific Advisor, as well as DRIEV, for making this come alive. We now have another experiment, another proof of concept to make this journey even more reinforced. And this is, again, to repurpose our EV batteries. This is Project Revive, in partnership with TERI, the Energy Research Institute, and Loham. Let me now invite Rajat Verma from Loham and Mr. Datta from TERI to further elaborate on this project. Welcome.
Thank you, Gaurav, and congratulations to MG on all the great work that they are doing. Loham is delighted to join hands with MG Motor India in this pioneering endeavor. Through our expertise in second life battery repurposing, critical mineral recycling, and low-carbon refining, we'll play a pivotal role in ensuring the sustainability and circularity of MG's electric vehicle batteries. By repurposing MG electric vehicle batteries as battery energy storage system, we contribute to accelerating the clean energy transition and address the critical need for reliable power supply across community centers. We provide 100% off-grid, 5 kilowatt-hour battery energy storage system to meet the essential energy needs of an urban and rural India by solving the end-of-life electric vehicle battery problem and organizing the battery waste sector. We do this while offsetting 90% of the carbon dioxide emissions of new battery production and consuming 500 times less water. The BESS will provide uninterrupted power supply even in regions with unreliable grid infrastructure. Loham represents 80% of India's battery recycling capacity, and we are proud of this collaboration with MG, as this represents a significant step towards sustainable development, underscoring our commitment to creating a greener future. Let me hand over now to Mr. Datta to tell us how they're doing using the BESS units. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. At TERI, TERI is extremely delighted to partner with MG Motors in this initiative towards second life application of EV battery for various stationary applications. Over 5 decades, we have significantly influenced both the industry and the communities through our research-driven innovative solutions. By establishing or creating various platforms and forums, we have facilitated global collaborations in sustainable development initiatives. As part of this partnership, repurposed battery energy storage system, we collaborated with Loham with solar PV that are deployed in various community applications near TERI's Himalayan Center in Mukteshwar in Nainital in Uttarakhand. Let's have a video presentation for the same.
बारिश के दिनों में तो कभी-कभी सप्ताह भर तक लाइट नहीं आती। इस कारण हमारे विद्यालय को इस समस्याओं से गुजरना पड़ता है।
विद्यालय में लाइट जाने की वजह से हमारी शिक्षा का बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान होता है।
ऑनलाइन क्लासेज, कंप्यूटर क्लासेज पर इसका बहुत बड़ा प्रभाव पड़ता है।
विद्यालय में लाइट जाने की वजह से कई बार हम शामपट में लिखी गई चीज़ों को अच्छी प्रकार से नहीं पढ़ पाते हैं।
जब बारिश होती है तो कंटिन्यूस 3-3, 4-4 दिन तक लगातार बारिश होती है, जिसकी वजह से जो है कई बार इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की बड़ी दिक्कतें कट हो जाते हैं, 2-2, 3-3 दिन तक लाइट नहीं आती।
एनर्जी स्टोरेज सिस्टम लगा है, उससे हमें कई सारी सुविधाएं मिली हैं। जब भी लाइट कटती है तो हमारे विद्यालय की लाइट नहीं जाती है, इससे हमारी पढ़ाई में कोई बाधा नहीं आती है।
इस सिस्टम के लगने के बाद हमारे यहाँ 24 घंटे लाइट रहती है। बच्चों को क्लास में अब कोई समस्या नहीं होती। अब हम ऑनलाइन क्लास व कंप्यूटर क्लास ठीक से चला पा रहे हैं।
तो सिस्टम को लगने से हमारे विद्यालय में 24 घंटे लाइट रह रही है और हमारा काम आसानी से हो रहा है। सारी कक्षाओं में लाइट रह रही है।
Thank you, Rajat, and thank you, Mr. Datta. This project is indeed a successful proof of concept, and it's now ready to be scaled across multiple applications. Today, we invite more and more partners to join us in scaling this even further. Moving on, another important aspect of embracing EV life is knowledge. All of us have numerous questions and myths about EVs. Yet, there is no single source of credible information which can answer all our queries. So, we took it upon ourselves to build a first of its kind EV educational platform that offers a wealth of information on all things EV. Introducing EVpedia, a dedicated EV education platform that provides answers to all the questions that you have been curious about, such as know-how about the battery technology, details about range, cost, charging infrastructure, trip planner, and charger locator to plan your long trips with ease. Topics on EV's cost of ownership, resale, warranty, finance, or insurance, all can be covered and can be seen on the platform. It also has latest research, reports, and policy documents which can be very handy for the information. And answer to all the myths which we have addressed today, like battery life, charging infrastructure, and many more. To understand EVpedia better, let's take a look. all this information is also easily accessible through our EV expert Veer, an AI-powered chatbot. By the way, EVpedia is not just an online platform. We also undertake multiple on-ground events in partnership with educational institutions and enthusiasts to evoke interest about EV in young and bright minds and to provide a first-hand experience of EV life. We are grateful to the invaluable contributions from industry specialists and our ecosystem partners to help us co-curate this platform and turn this vision into a reality. Thank you.
As you know, people have deep emotional connections with their vehicles, and thousands of songs like this have been written to celebrate this bond. At MG, we understand this connection, and we want to make you start this journey. That's why we strive to introduce innovative products and services built with the latest technology to offer exceptional ownership experience. Since our inception, connectivity and cutting-edge technology solutions have been the hallmark of all MG vehicles. We have partnered with a network of leading technology companies to bring you features like internet and AI integration, voice recognition, mobile and smartwatch app control, over-the-air updates, digital key, and many, many others. Over the past few months, MG and Reliance Jio have been working closely to develop technology never seen in India, designed to keep our customers engaged and entertained. I'm really excited to introduce the MG Jio innovative connectivity platform called MG Jio ICP. And this platform offers many firsts. So introducing the MG App Store in your vehicle, a hub of gaming, entertainment, learning, and much more, it does. Second, a superior in-car voice capability, which will now be offered in 6 Indian languages, making our cars even more accessible and user-friendly. 3, and for the first time ever in the automotive landscape, a home-to-car functionality. This is just a start. Possibilities are endless. To tell you more about the MG Jio ICP, let me invite Mohan Raju from Jio.
Thank you so much, Rajiv and Team MG, for inviting us for this nice occasion. Friends, at the outset, it's my pleasure to share with all of you that we at Jio are very proud about our collaboration with MG. Together, we have created many enriching experiences for our customers. Let be listening to your favorite songs in your car on Jio Savan, or say let be speaking to your car in English. Together, we have brought many industry-first features and functionalities. For the first time in India, an auto brand like MG has closely collaborated with a tech brand like Jio to be able to build solutions around the vehicle connectivity as a platform. Today, we are happy to share with all of you about the MG Jio Intelligent Connectivity Platform, or the ICP in short, which will first be available with MG vehicles to start with in India. Today, on this occasion, let me give you a brief glimpse of what some of the features that the ICP will offer all of us. First is a dedicated MG App Store powered by Jio Store. Now, this is a significant leap in in-car infotainment. Now, this MG App Store would offer you a bouquet of apps, entertainment OTT apps for you to catch up with your favorite TV shows, or for catching up with your favorite movie on your wish list, turning your car into a space of entertainment, and for you to relax a bit. The second, games. Waiting in your car would never be the same again. Jio Games would transform these idle moments into exciting gaming challenges. Now let it be a single-player game or a multiplayer game. It doesn't matter. Get ready to hone up your gaming skills to the next level just by saying hello, MG. Third, learning applications. We all have utilized our time in the car to learn about new things, listen to news, listen to knowledge artifacts, and many more. To take this experience to a completely different level, we have curated a platform which gives you access to a host of audiobooks, podcasts, and many more educational apps. So friends, this is something MG App Store is going to offer you. Second, Hello Jio, your in-car AI-powered voice recognition system. Hello Jio's NLP capabilities enables you to talk to your MG in multiple Indian languages. Today, we are happy to introduce 2 new languages, which is Gujarati and Marathi. I hope you take a look for yourselves.
I'm listening. હું સાંભળું છું. நான் గమనిக்கிறேன். నేను వింటున్నాను. मी ऐकत आहे.
Well, so those are some of the languages, and as I said, Gujarati and Marathi now available so that you can talk to your MG in your own language. So let it be changing your music tracks in your car, or say let it be setting the mood lighting in your MG. Now you can all do this by speaking to your car. And let me highlight that, you know, we are the first car in the Indian industry to have multiple languages to speak to, powered by Hello Jio. Now the third, as Rajiv mentioned, a very first of its kind initiative called the home to car functionality. We have been working to bridge the gap between your home and your car. And the home to car functionality exactly does that, right from your television connected to the Jio set-top box right in your home. Say you're watching your evening news, and say you're concerned that what's the charge in my MG for my next day morning's office commute. No worries. You just command it to your Jio set-top box, and various vehicle parameters like vehicle charge or odo rating and a whole host of other parameters come right onto your television screen in your living room. Similarly, while you're catching up on your favorite movie on a Sunday afternoon, or say catching up with your IPL match or your favorite Olympic game, and you suddenly remember, hey, I need to book my MG for a service later this week. No worries. Just do it from your television with the Jio set-top box. We have seamlessly integrated the entire service booking flow right onto, in such a manner that you get the access right onto your television. Right? So these are some of the examples. Third, you want to test drive the new vehicle launched by MG? No problem. You can do this from your living room too, all by speaking to your Jio set-top box. And friends, not just this, we are building hosts of other features that will bridge the gap between your home and the car like never before. So these are some of the features that MG Jio Intelligent Connectivity Platform will bring to all of us. And hold on, we are working together to build far more features together, which will be first of its kind in the country. Well, thank you so much for your attention. Ladies and gentlemen, back to you, Rajiv.
Right. Thanks, Mohan. So, as we wrap up, I want to emphasize MG's commitment to developing an ecosystem that supports and enhances the EV life. So we are moving towards this mission with our ever-evolving offerings, as you have seen, and we'll do more in the next few weeks. So first, to summarize today's session, we are doing eHub, powered by MG, a unified charging platform for all EVs, available today onwards on Apple App Store and Google Play Store. 2, the battery repurposing and second life usage with Project Revive. Third, EVpedia, a knowledge center for all things EV, it's live. And fourth, MG Geo Innovative Connectivity Platform, ICP, with the MG Store, with advanced voice recognition and home-to-vehicle capabilities. So MG Geo ICP will be available in the upcoming India's first intelligent CUV, and as you can guess it, it's MG Windsor EV, which will also get benefit from the full impact of all these platforms. So this car will carry all these functionalities as we go forward. So we are really excited to bring these initiatives to you today. With our offerings, I'm sure you will find adopting the EV life much more enjoyable and would do your bit to care for our planet. So may I invite now all our CPO partners and speakers up on stage for a photograph celebrating the movement to this EV life. So please join me on the stage. Right. Okay. Hey, hi. Good. I hope. Thank you. Thanks. So once again, thanks for changing your plan. Right. Come.